Hello and welcome each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCTcentre, and also I'm true speaker, healer, energy worker, guide mentor, co-creator, and galactic ambassador from Pleiadians. And with me is two lovely ladies, Morganne Rayne, spiritual consultant, gratefully providing access to higher dimensions of being. Morganne is called healer of healers as a way to describe her unique spiritual tools she shares. Morganne is here to serve those who see great understanding of their secret spiritual self, have deep desire to integrate that consciousness in their 3D world. And Jeannie Rayne, a licensed psychotherapist in state of Washington, working primarily with early childhood trauma, sexual abuse, and emotional neglect, helping clients empower themselves. Jeannie sees herself as lifetime student of growth. She continually takes classes to enhance her knowledge base. So, hello, my two lovely ladies.
Good morning from
Morning.
Pacific Northwest. You know, it's interesting. Yesterday we got up to 84 degrees where I live. 84 degrees. I don't know what that equates in your degree system, but today it's 56. So, it's like what a
Here in England is, I'm talking in Celsius. I don't know Fahrenheit how well, but in Celsius here is sometimes till 27, but then it drops till 19. Yeah. I mean, at night time could be even 15. So as well, something what we never had before. If start warm, then it starts warm, and night is warm and day is warm, but at the moment it jumps.
Yeah, it kind of is doing that here. It's like really strange to go from 83, 84 to 56 today, but that's kind of the Pacific Northwest in a way. We just get really excited about the sunny days and accept the whatever comes our way. Right?
Yeah.
What you want to talk about? You want to talk about what's in my brain, or you got some messages?
I have message which one I have to share with everybody, because we again getting upgrade, and this time they are helping us. There will be statement from them what we have to say 3 times, and then it will start our bodies change in molecular level. So I will explain a little bit more how they want to explain, but that's what we will having today. Okay, I starting then.
Okay.
An energetic framework is being opened through your new earth this month to support our ascension home. First step is for you to begin to reopen to the multidimensional blueprints that exist within yourself that allows an engagement within your original sacred nature frequency settings. These specific settings require you to reestablish connection throughout all cellular structures in your physical body. This is easily achieved through conscious participation to relying to this true daily. Here is the statement. I am a multidimensional sacred being of light, and my ego mind's persona has never been part of my original aspect. I return to my origin of light, so be it. So I repeat another time. I am multidimensional sacred being of light, and my ego mind's persona has never been part of my original aspect. I return to my origin of light, so be it. This statement should never be used as an affirmation. This statement is utilized a total of 3 times. That's enough. After inco- after anchoring the statement once, you take one conscious breath, breathing in the mouth and exhaling out the mouth. The conscious breath anchors the truth throughout the cellular structures of the body, while bypassing your ego mind persona. Then you repeat this process 3 times in total. So I actually understand that it's something similar as Ho'oponopono, because it gives these 3 times you saying this, and it's like erases previous ones and start something new in your body.
So would you go? So I only got so far. I am a multidimensional sacred being of light, and my ego mind persona.
Okay, I go another time.
Go slower so I can write it down.
I am a multidimensional sacred being of light, and my ego mind persona has never been part of my original aspect.
That's it?
Yeah, I return to my origin of light, so be it.
Okay.
I will include this statement and how to breathe in a description as well later on, so everybody can have in description this. And from that moment on, our bodies on cellular level starting to change. So yeah,
that's awesome. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I actually find something else. I for a long time following Marina Jacobi, but then I didn't follow her again for some time, and now I just reach her message, and she is doing every day meditation, which one is like encoding in bodies different frequencies. Yeah, it's really with numbers, with codes. It's not meditation how we doing, but really with codes. Yeah, they download her codes. I was asking, do I need this meditation? And they tell me, no, I don't, but that's really for people who haven't have their guides and who haven't have direct access to their higher selves and their guides. Yeah, but yeah, that's very useful as well. And as soon as I was getting to this meditation, straight away they give me this one. Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. We may be using this at the end.
Yeah, that would be.
I think that would be really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Jeannie, what have you got to say about this?
I'm sorry, I didn't take it all in. I was trying to, but I was writing slower than you were talking. So
That's okay. When I do the meditation, you'll be able to integrate it in. I think I got it all.
Okay.
You got it definitely, because you already done nearly first part when I tell you second time everything. So
yeah, this is this is beautiful. This is from our higher aspects. I mean, if we're listening to this, if we're hearing this, if our listeners are hearing this, this is kind of where you are. This is the message for you, right? This is where you are in consciousness. Go ahead, Jeannie.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I think I'm right there. You know, I'm working on this right now in my life.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, we are.
I think we all do, because when I was reading up other posts about what's going on and so on, it's all about now we getting through emotions. Now we getting through ups and downs, and we need to keep breathing through and getting through, because we are already in light. Yeah, but it's like last try to get us back, yeah, to 3D.
Right. Yep. You know, in Course in Miracles, we talk about the ascension, but we also talk about the descension, right? And we go through those periodically in varying degrees. We can go have some really high highs and we can have some really low lows, right? So, and everything in between. This morning, my attention was on, I was thinking about this as we progress in our own ascension of our thoughts and our feelings and our ascension and how we view the world. When we begin to embody those higher aspects, well, the truth is, as a human, we're leaving some other aspects behind. And something that I've noticed, and I think this is probably true for everyone, that as we move in our own personal growth, and then as we move into our more spiritual growth, and then we move into our ascending growth, we're leaving something behind where we've been, right? So there's the tendency to want to go back because it's where we've been has been there. One of the things that occurred to me is that when we leave something or something has left us, because that happens too, right? When we grow, sometimes our relationships change. When we become a higher frequency, definitely some of our relationships change, right? Also, what changes is some of our attitudes and our behaviors and our thoughts and our feelings. There's a tendency to want to go back and revisit those because we've been there and they are familiar, right? What came up for me today is that there is also an aspect, and I think sometimes when we're working with these higher ascending thoughts, we forget to honor what has been before us, right? Where we came from. And I know when there is, and it's almost kind of like a loss when we give up a behavior or we give up definitely when we give up a relationship, but when we give up a thought or a behavior or a pattern of being, there's a piece of us that begins to kind of grieve that, right? Because it's a loss. Anytime there's a change, it's almost like there's a loss. And I was thinking about it in terms of the stages of grief, right? So we can get a massive aha, I got it, right? And then we got it. We have this illumination, but then there's the back here, there's the tendency to want to go back and go back to the whatever was before that. So I was just thinking about, where does grief come into play when we are moving in this ascension cycle, right? Because it sounds to me like, when I've been with people a lot who have been in death, right? And there's a grieving period, but there's also a grieving period when there's the death of an egoic idea or whatever. And we'll go through those same stages of grief. And the one that just kept, we'll go through, denial, we'll go through, different stages. One of the most powerful stages is that acceptance phase, the acceptance of where we've been, the acceptance of the lessons we learned in that, the acceptance of everything that was given to us and that we learned in that stage of where we've been. And it's because of that stage that we've been able to now move up into ascension. But what we do sometimes is we make that stage wrong or bad. Does that make sense? We can make those wrong and bad when we're in that ascension stage, but it's not. It's just a part of the growth. It's a part of the becoming. So when Daga reads, you know, I am a multidimensional sacred being of light. Let's just start with that sentence, right? And you put that into your divine matrix of mind and thought and feeling. What comes up? You know, it's like, is that what we really believe about ourselves? Yeah, this is what we know is the truth on the highest spiritual level, but we also have to go through the logic level, the feeling level, the thought level of our own being, in order to accept that, right? So where grieving came up was that honoring those places that we have been that get us to this point where we are now. One of the things I've heard all along since I've known that I'm a healer and I've taken on this role is that I had to give up a persona of who I was. And when you were talking about and my ego mind persona has never been a part of my original aspect. I was like, wow, that just kind of mimics what I was thinking on today, is that persona we develop and we develop many of them. And if you think back in your life, the persona that we develop as a child, we may try to be like our parents, or we try to be like a teacher, or we may try to be like a parent or a minister or whatever, right? We try to be like and mimic and develop a persona. It's not the truth of who we are. It's a persona we have developed. And as we come into awakening, we have to give up that beloved persona that we have developed all those years, because it's really not the truth of us. So that's kind of where my mind and my thinking has been this morning on honoring the place, the depth of where we've come from, because without that we couldn't have gotten to where we are now. So there's that honoring of what it is, and honoring of the depth of it. It's like it can go deep sometimes, I know. So it's just that honoring place of where we've been, and also looking at, we have a logical awakening. So we got to work through the logic part of it, and we also have a spiritual awakening. So we work through the spiritual part of it. So Course in Miracles, I love it. So right away I go, okay, well, what does the Course in Miracles say about grief? So I go there, and it's like they say there is no grief with any cause at all, and suffering of any kind is just a dream. So I've got that higher truth, right? And then I've got my human, what we work with Ho'oponopono on, right? So that we can truly get to that place. So I don't know, this may be just a whole mishmash of being in Morganne's head today, and good luck with all that. And so what are you ladies thinking about? Oh, the last thing I want to say, because I wrote it and I put a star by it, so I must.
I do hope it's not the last thing you want to say today.
It just comes out. When we are working with anything that we're letting go of in order to attach to something, because really what we're doing is, I don't want to be in this lower frequency, la 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 la, right? Whatever that frequency is, grief, shame, blame, anger, whatever that is, and you
And
don't.
I stop you right there.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be there. That straight away is wrong message you're giving out.
No, but when we are there, when we are there, right? Can you still go there, Daga? Jeannie, can you still go there sometimes? Yeah. But it's the energy that, and it's our commitment to our spiritual growth that takes us out of that. But there's also an honoring, because if we don't, then what we're doing is we're putting this negative energy of, I don't want that. And that's an energy that's going to push us to experience it more. But when we accept, oh, yeah, I've had grief. Yep, I experienced that, but now I choose, right? There's I accept where it's been, but now I choose. And I also give thanks for where it's been, because it's helped me shift and move up into it's like that ascension ladder we talk about in the map of consciousness. We shift up, but if we find ourselves in grief or wherever we find ourselves and we don't really want to be there, I say be there with the thoughts and the feelings, because it's the thoughts and the feelings that are arising that need our attention, right? So if we go, no, don't think that, don't feel that, right? We are dishonoring the process. And so those thoughts and feelings that come up, even especially when we're on an ascension path, they're going to come up because it's showing us exactly what it is we are leaving behind or letting go of or no longer resonating with. And so there's an honor of the relationship with that. So that's kind of where I've been this morning. Good luck with that. I'd love feedback, thoughts.
Why I stopped you, because I now, since I actually learned coaching and therapy and so on, I try to avoid, I don't want to this and that.
Yeah.
I avoiding, I avoiding. Yes, I'm going in dark places and same as everybody else. I'm up and down and up and down. Yeah. But to get out, okay, now I know which place I am. This is not my place to be. Yeah. So I clear out everything. I'm doing Ho'oponopono, clearing everything out, and I consciously going up where I want to be and where I want to feel. Yeah, I try not to use this I don't want to, because that's the biggest fault what everybody doing. Yeah, they are manifesting what they don't want.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the universe does not. Yeah, one of the things I used to teach my students was the universe does not hear don't. It does not hear no. It doesn't hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And with that energy, that thought, that feeling, I don't want, right? That's like, I've been there, right? I don't want to feel this. Well, you're going to feel it so good. Right. And the universe is, they go, oh my God, she wants to feel that again. Right. So, yeah, using the I don't want, when you're doing that, we think it's a push away, but it's not, it's an attractor. So
exactly.
Yep. Jeannie?
So the thing, so they say what we persist. I mean, what we resist persist. And so it's about accepting our past and all that, as Morganne and I've talked about before, and showing the acceptance that we can let it go. So I'm just really I'm going on a vision quest this weekend, and a lot of stuff has been coming up for me, and it's just really, really interesting to be in this space. So I'm trying to have like grace around it where I am, and it's a really difficult time for me in all this, but I'm glad it's coming up. Like, I'm glad it's all happening, because I know it's happening, coming up to be released. So I'm just honoring it as it comes up and trying not to judge it. And yeah, so I keep on, I don't know if you noticed, but I keep on yawning here because I didn't sleep well last night at all. Like, I didn't get very much sleep. And so but I think it's all part of this rumbling that's happening for this vision quest.
How about you, Morganne? Do you sleep normally at night?
It just depends, right? I've gone through different kinds of patterns of sleep. For many years, I would go to sleep, and then every morning I wake up at 4 o'clock. Every morning, wake up at 4 o'clock. There was no alarm. It was just wake up at 4 o'clock. And so that's when I chose to do my prayer practices, meditation, whatever, right? And I loved it because it was quiet and still. And then that shifted, right? And it's interesting because I wanted to hang on to that 4 o'clock thing, right? Like, it was like mine. It's like, I wake up at 4 o'clock and and then it's like one day I woke up at 7. And it's like, whoa, no. Right? I rarely wake up at 4 o'clock anymore. But there are times when, especially when I'm in an accelerated growth period, where sleep is elusive, right? It's like my mind and my body still are working on something, and so sleep is it's all over the place for me right now. I just accept, I go to sleep, and whatever happens. But I am having exquisite, multicolored, technicolored dreams lately. So and I can love that. I don't want to get attached to it, because when they go away, I'll have to grieve it. Where's my dreams? Where's my 4 o'clock? But
I was asking because I was waking up at 4 o'clock and no problem, and I go out even on a bike and watch sunrise, and it was nice. Yeah. Now I can't get out of bed. I don't want to get out of bed. It's just, and when I get out of bed, I don't feel rested. I have lucid dreamings all the time. Yeah. And I don't feel I've been resting at all. I'm just waking up, and it's another day in front of me. Just, yeah.
Yep. I think that sleep patterns are affected definitely by our growth patterns, right? There are times in my life where I've needed very little sleep, like 4 to 6 hours. Now it's definitely, I have 8 hours of sleep, sometimes more. I don't know if it's a function of a body that's growing older and just needs more rest. I don't know. I'm really active, and I'm always moving or whatever. Doesn't seem to affect my sleep patterns. You would think some days I would just drop dead tired, but nope, I'm still awake. I'm still going. I'm still creating. I get up a lot. One of the things I do a lot, and I still do it if I wake up in the middle of the night, I get up and paint or draw. So I don't know if there's a push to do it, but it's where I just get up and do it.
Yeah.
I want to ask Jeannie about and you too, Dega, but I know Jeannie's worked with people who are in grief cycles, and what you notice about how people work with grief.
What I've noticed is, there's, for me, I've noticed different stages with people. When they first have grief, they want to go inward. But it's good to get out there and talk about it. And when, I've been in, I co-led grief groups, and when people talk about it, it's really good, to be witnessed and to hold the space for the person. It's to see that they're seen in their pain, because it is pain, and people, there's no right or wrong way to go through grief. It's just what is for you, uniquely for you. And so, I find it fascinating. But what I really get is when you're going through grief, there's it's like you're very raw, and you're very much understand life, the way we should be living it. Like, it's how precious as it is, that we won't always have the things we have, that we, things go, I mean, on a more surface level, like even things in life, like stages of life, like records, when we used to have records, like, there's so many things like that kind of like just go away, and we don't even realize it. And then, like, we'll realize it, and we're just like, oh, like, I missed that. But you didn't know you missed it until you realized it wasn't there anymore.
Right.
But it's I don't know. I find grief fascinating in a way. And, because everybody goes through it differently.
Yeah, I think it is unique, and it's just honoring. Again, I'm going to go back to that word honoring of what's coming forward, the thoughts, the feelings, because that's being present to that, I think, takes us to a whole new level of ascension that's that's more authentic. Does that make sense? Right? Like, we're not dragging the baggage with us, right? We're actually being present to it, letting it go, or grieving it, or honoring it, or thanking it, right? For getting us to where, and I know I've told everybody, if somebody would ask you, who is Morganne when I was in my 20s and 30s, they would say she's a very angry woman, because I was, and I was stuck in it. I was angry. Anger come out in my words. It was coming out in my thinking about self. It was coming out and being projected onto others. So anger was this I wanted to call it an albatross, but it's not. It was like, and I know in the work that I do, anger can be one of the most powerful places you are, right? It's like, it's full of juice. Yeah. But I wasn't using it in that way. I was using anger as being righteous about something. I was using anger I was committed to anger. I was committed to it until one day I got a medical diagnosis of something called glaucoma,
Mm.
right? And I was young when I got this medical diagnosis. And because it's typically a disease of old people. And so when I got this diagnosis, one of the first things I did was go to Louise Hay's little blue book, You Can Heal Your Life. And I know I've worked with this one, Messages from the Body, from Michael Lincoln, where they talk about the psychological, emotional concepts behind what's going on in our physicalities. And in Louise Hay's little blue book around glaucoma, it said stony unforgiveness. Oh, wait, crap. Stony unforgiveness. So when I get that message, no, that's, no, right? So that actually began the path that I got on with forgiveness and learning forgiveness and teaching about forgiveness, right? That anger was what was anchoring me in that unforgiving heart and attitude of being, right? And if I told my story to somebody, they'd go, oh my God, you got every right to be angry, right? They give me permission to be angry, right? But what was anger doing to me? Well, now it's affected my eyes, my seeing, my vision, where I'm going in the world, right? And so when I think about it in that kind of way, that anger had served me up to a point. It actually got me out of really bad situation, right? So it was powerful, but I stayed there. I was using the energy and the power of anger because that was the juiciest thing I had until I learned about forgiveness. So there's, again, it's an honoring of the energy of where I was and where I'd been, and to honor that and to be that, I agreed to not only work on it within myself, but to teach others. So, this is where we got to. So is having glaucoma a great thing? No, but it's what opened my eyes. It's what opened my mind. It's open to what was brewing inside of me and how I got to where I was. So yeah, there was that place of needing to really look at what got me to where I was, honoring it so that I could move forward. And had I not had that experience, I might not be teaching today.
Hmm.
And
yeah. So what I'm getting from your story is that you were able to wake up and grow from this when you read Louise Hay's book.
yeah.
And it changed the trajectory of your life. And I think that's the difference between staying stuck in a negative thought pattern and then moving from it, using it as a stepping stone into something higher.
Yep. But that's the way we do it, right? Even when we're looking at like the map of consciousness, and I'm talking about, well, identify where you are. And if you want to start your ascension process, just look at the one right above that. Just move one step up, right? Don't try to go from being in shame and blame and try to go to bliss and oneness. It won't happen right away. I can do that now because I've been up and down that scale so many times my choosing is so powerful that I can move myself in a nanosecond. But not everyone can do that because they've not practiced. And I say my practice of choosing is pretty well honed. So practicing choosing where we are is a skill. It's a skill.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so when and again, I love that Course in Miracles. Well, you can choose again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's choose again.
Right. And so when you see miserable people, they're just stuck. They haven't chosen.
Exactly. Well, they have chosen.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't know they could choose again, right? There's no idea of what else is possible alive in them. And that's why we have each other's, truly, that's why we have one another. In the bio that Daga reads about me, that I've been called the healer of healers, right? Because I'll tell you, a lot of people who are ministers, therapists, they come to me. And what I recognize is people who are healers and ministers and those who are in service to others often put themselves last.
Absolutely.
Right. And then what happens, this is a pattern I see that happens. And then the imposter syndrome shows up. Well, I can't be a healer because all this crap. Okay. It's like, I can't be this because I got all this stuff going on in my life. Well, no, it's because you have all that stuff in your life that you've been called to do this. It's a reframing and a different way of restructuring. That's why I could use glaucoma as a leaping point for my growth, because I knew what the alternative to that was, right? So if I didn't grow from it, I could remain angry, I could remain stuck, just like people who are, like you're just talking about. It's all a matter of choice. I chose to look at it differently. And we all have that power to do that.
Right.
What else is possible?
Yeah, but to get to this, what else is possible? I find many of my clients don't even recognize that they are talking to themselves, that they are choosing something. They going around life just subconscious, with completely unconscious about what's happening. Yeah, they just act how they feel in the moment, and as I said, they don't notice what they're telling themselves. They don't notice how they are.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I see Jeannie wants to say something about that.
A lot of people aren't awake. They don't know they're not awake. But it's so they go through life and they're pretty miserable, because they're stuck in this, and they think they see the weight of the world on them, and they don't realize they're at choice. Because they could be standing in this beautiful area where you see the beautiful flowers and they don't see them, or there's a little child there that's just joy in itself, and the person,
and they don't see it. Yeah.
Because they're so stuck in their own stuff. And it's for me, it's we can change at any time. It's just a choice. But we have to know that we have a choice. A lot of people are so stuck they don't realize they have choices.
Exactly. Until something happens that helps them, right? A diagnosis, whatever, right? I was teaching a class on metaphysics one year, and there was this beautiful human in the group, and this was a huge class. Like, I think there were like 175 people in this class, so it was really huge. And I was in this auditorium, And this beautiful human began to talk about how miserable her life was, right? And just going on and on. And I gave her a platform to get it all out, say what she needed to say. And then when she was done, I did this. I go, and so it is. And I turned around and started teaching. And she's like, no, no, no. She goes, no, I don't want it to be so it is. I go, oh, I thought you were affirming. You were affirming, because it was so powerful, and I am this and I am that. And it's like, okay. And so it is, because that's the truth. If you that was a humongous wake-up call for this human. Beautiful wake-up call for this human, because it echoed back to her what she was affirming about herself, right? Which was all of the dismissive, the low frequency, the everything I am not, right? And sometimes teachers, well, first of all, listen to your guidance on what it is. And my guidance was very clear about just honor where she was, and so it is. And then it's like, no, I don't want it. I don't want that, right? So sometimes a wake up can be like that, right? Where someone has reflected back to you what you're really saying into the field. Yeah. Anyway, so wake it up.
It's time for our meditation.
Great. Let's do this. Jeannie, do you have anything else to say about this before we go into meditation?
No, I was surprised it came so fast.
Yeah, me too. It was great conversation. I think we could talk about this for a long time.
Right.
All right, beautiful beings. Let's move into our own sacred selves and work with this energy that we've been talking about today. So, first of all, I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes. And we do this symbolically as a shutting out of the exterior, so that we are our movement to self is within. So take a breath within. So we're going to shut our eyes, close off our visual to the exterior world, and take a beautiful breath in. And let that breath out. And as you let that breath out, let your body soften. Let your body relax. Let your body come to a still point. Just take another breath in. And on the exhale, again, bring your body to that relaxed, calm, still point. And just find your own natural rhythm of breathing as we continue this inward journey of a discovery of really who we are. And on that, let's take another breath in. And continue to just bring your being, your breath, your consciousness, your awareness to this point to receive the information that we're about to receive. And as we receive this information that's been given, notice maybe what else is coming up around it. And as those things may come up, honor them and go, just say thank you for showing me, and just move your attention back. So we begin. I'm going to say a statement, the beautiful statements that Daga brought forward in the beginning, these beautiful messages of the truth of who we are. And as I do this, as I bring it up, please honor whatever is coming up for you. Thank it, and then come back to the statements I'm saying. So the first one is, I am a multidimensional sacred being of light. Breathe that in. And just notice if anything other than that is coming forward. Thank it. And my ego mind persona has never been a part of my original aspect. So this is what all is coming forward. My ego, the mind, the persona is not a part of my original aspect. And just notice what comes forward. I return to my origin of light. And just notice what comes forward when this statement comes in. So be it. And even when I say so be it, what is coming forward for you, honor the thoughts and the feelings coming forward. Now we're going to repeat these lines. Again, move into that still point within yourself, ready to receive these statements, these truths. Noticing what comes forward, honoring it, thanking it, and returning back to the truths, choosing to listen. I am a multidimensional sacred being of light. And my ego mind persona has never been a part of my original aspect. I return to my origin of light. So be it. So just be in the presence of those statements, noticing if anything else is coming forward, honoring every thought and feeling that's coming up, experiencing yourself choosing these words, choosing these new ideas, if they may be new for some people. And now I ask you to come to that still point one more time. And as I speak these words for the third time into the consciousness of love, I ask that you receive them as it's absolutely the truth. And as you accept them as absolutely the truth, notice what comes up and forward for you. Again, giving thanks and releasing. So one more time, I invite you to embrace these words. And let my I am be your I am. I am a multidimensional sacred being of light. My ego mind persona was never a part of my original aspect. I return to my origin of light. I invite you to feel into that. I return to my origin of light. Breathe that in. Accept your origin of light. Allow your origin of light to lead you. Taking your breath in as I give thanks for all that has occurred here this day. I give thanks for the guidance and the wisdom of Spirit through each of us here this day. I give thanks for every ear that has heard, every heart that is open, every mind that is connected here. I give thanks for all those who receive this message. And I know that the message of this is a frequency and a vibration that is going through the ethers now and even speaking into the hearts and the minds of those who cannot hear it. I give thanks for the messages of this day, and I release us into our worlds, our experiences of life. I release us into that with this consciousness that we are multidimensional beings of light and love and goodness. And I ask you to move in your world as that awareness and love what happens. So be it. And so it is.
Thank you.
She froze.
Dega froze. She's frozen in time. I love it. Jeannie, have you got anything to add to that?
No, I just like to say thanks for showing up today, and thanks for everybody's watching and will listen in the future. Yeah, really powerful stuff, and really looking forward to the future.
And I bless you on your journey of vision, of awakening, of moving into that vision. It's a quest. It's a revealing, right? Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's already happening.
We are. Is Dega back?
I am back, but you know, this old frequency just completely crashed my computer. I just had blue screen. Yeah, your device crashed.
Yep. All right. Well, we've already said our goodbyes and our thank yous.
You froze then?
It's time for me to say goodbye and finish this off as well. Thank you, everybody who are been watching, who will be watching. Please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube and Rumble channels, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.